about Kanye West's VMA stage invasion, Taylor Swift walked out of an interview with a US radio station. Stick with us to the end as we discover why our very own lovable country singer walked out of the interview after a lifelong career of getting hit by these uncouth questions. Swift responded to 3 questions about Kanye during an interview with the Tampa Bay radio station by saying, "I really would appreciate if we could talk about something else because I've asked you 3 times now. I'm trying to be nice about it because it's not something that we need to spend this whole interview talking about." However, the DJ added, "It's beneficial for your career because you are the hero and he is the zero in this situation." Taylor walked away from the interview at that point. Let us investigate this further. Taylor Swift has had a few fights in the course of her career. Her competition with Diplo, for example, was more evident than others. But her supposed spat with Leonardo DiCaprio was a less evident one. A number of embarrassing moments were generated for the singer and songwriter by her spat with Kanye West. She left a radio interview in the middle of it, only to surrender the phone to her publicist later. Let's take a look back at what happened. This happened a long time ago, following Kanye West and Taylor Swift's infamous VMAs bust-up in 2013. When Kanye and Taylor first met, Swift wanted Kanye's respect, but they were able to reconnect after the incident. Swift recalls, "I started to feel like we reconnected, which felt great for me because all I ever wanted my whole career after that thing happened in 2009 was for him to respect me." Swift explains, "When someone doesn't respect you so loudly and says, 'You literally don't deserve to be here,' I just so badly wanted that respect from him, and I hate that about myself, that I was like, this guy who's antagonizing me, I just want his approval." But that's where I was. When West accepted the Vanguard Award in 2015, things took a turn for the worst. Yeezy invited Swift to give the award, and she agreed after a long phone call and some extremely lovely remarks from the rapper. Taylor Swift presented Kanye with the prize because she wanted to get the most attention. Kanye said in his acceptance speech, "When Swift learned he is so two-faced, it didn't set well with her. To be polite to me behind the scenes, but then to stand up in front of everyone and say shit is a contradiction in terms, and it made me angry." Taylor's 2009 was not a happy year, and she was compelled to give multiple interviews in which she had to bring up Kanye. However, the star had had enough in this particular conversation. Kanye West's questions had been answered by Taylor Swift. The conversation began with a question about Kanye West's infamous 2009 incident. As a result of the overwhelming support she received from her fans, Swift was able to answer the issue in the best way she could. The host, on the other hand, appears unwilling to let Swift off the hook, questioning her about her thoughts on the current situation yet again. Taylor would say that she didn't want to make it bigger than it was. Her suggestion that they talk about anything else would come up later when they realized that she had already talked about the subject in previous interviews. Let me give you some tips here. You've got 10 or 12 radio stations lined up after me, and they're all going to want to talk about this Taylor. The video was re-uploaded to YouTube in February of 2021 and already has over 500,000 views. Fan support for Taylor Swift on YouTube and Reddit is hardly a surprise at this point. Here's what the folks had to say on the subject. His tone suggested he was trying to control her and didn't like that she was establishing and adhering to a limit on her own accord. In addition, his arrogant advice about how this will benefit her career was a complete turnoff. As one, on Reddit, some also commented that she remembers a Red Period interview she gave where she brought mint cookies to everyone in the room. Her interviewer was unpleasant and ungrateful, to say the least, interrupting and misinterpreting her jokes on a regular basis. The question, "Did you prepare those for us or are they leftovers?" is just F enough, buddy. His name has slipped their mind completely. It was as if her mind had blocked out the recollection of that embarrassing interview, with this one done in 2009 getting major buzz. Her demeanor, professionalism, and regard for others, though, were astounding for someone so young. It's always been, it'll always be. As a matter of fact, she was a teenager at the time. While Taylor was praised for her poise at such a young age, the most popular comments were critical of the interviewer. Some of the fans commented saying that Bobby Bones, the interviewer, was merely the worst, and that he was unprofessional, bringing his inexcusable behavior to an interview with such a star. Another fan also said that this is the reason why Taylor at the moment does not do interviews with random radio stations. Well, what can we say? And there you have it. Taylor Swift walks off radio interview. Don't fail to check back with us for the most recent news from the entertainment industry. And don't forget to leave a comment on this video's comment section about the story. Right after adding your comment with your views on this story, I'll ask you to subscribe and please hit the notification bell right now.